Okay, we're going to do a few of these reviews just in case we didn't get a chance to fully in class. Apologize if I sound sick, because I am. First thing is you kind of want an illustration. So we got the line segment BC, BZ with a midpoint M, and then the middle of BM is N. So I now have the complete picture. First questions, these are asking length. They're saying the length of BC and the length of MC. To do that, basically when you have numbers, you are taking the difference between these two. In other words, simply subtract them. So to get BC, to get the length from here to here, I'm going to subtract 5, take away negative 13, and I will get 18. That works every time. Now, if you get a negative number, you make it positive because we don't refer to lengths as negative. Now, BM, or MC, excuse me, MC is from here to here. That's half of what we just got. So that's 9. We didn't have the point for M. We didn't have the coordinate for M yet, but we can get that in a second. But we can't do the subtraction thing there because we didn't need to. It's 18 and half of 18 is 9. Coordinates, to find the coordinates or location of a point or midpoint, well, what you're always going to do is add the two values, which we had negative 13 and we had 5. And we want M is in the middle, so we put a plus between it and divide by 2. If you do that, you get negative 4, if I'm not mistaken. So negative 4 is now my middle number. Just to confirm that, in fact, my length from M to C is actually 9, like we said here. I take 5, take away negative 4, because I'm finding length, and I do get 9. So I feel comfortable about M. Now, N is supposed to be N between these two numbers. So my last question is to get the coordinate N, which is here, which means I need the middle of these two. So I'm going to add them together, because I want the middle. I put a plus in between, and divide by 2. And that gives me negative some really weird number, 6.5. Nope, that doesn't sound right. Let's see, 17, 8.5. There you go. And it's not going to be necessarily a pretty answer. That's why you want to know that you always add divide by 2 for midpoint. Same thing with this next set of questions. The answers I'll provide for you are 24, 12, 3, and negative 3. You can confirm those. All right, the next set of questions, it says more than one answer can apply. You're looking for same side, corresponding, alternate interiors, exteriors, vertical, adjacent, congruent, or supplementary. So again, this is where we trace, extend, and establish a pattern. We really don't necessarily need the pattern if we just trace and extend, I think. So 13 and 1, extend, extend, extend. 13 and 1 are in, those are corresponding. And because they're corresponding, and you can abbreviate that just core if you'd like, C-O-R-O-R-R, corresponding, and because they're corresponding, the pattern would fit, they'd be the same color, so they're congruent. And I'm going to cheat, instead of write congruent, I'm going to write congruent using the symbol. Erase your pattern, go to the next question. Next question, I trace 14, I'm tracing 9, extend, extend, extend. Now what kind of angles are these two angles here and here? Well, they're both inside the river, and they're on the same side. So same side, interior. And if you establish pattern there, green, 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 9 and 14 aren't the same color. So they have to be not congruent, but supplementary. They're either going to be congruent or supplementary in the pattern. 6 and 7. Now here's a different one. If you trace, notice we don't get that pattern. What's that called when you have them right next to each other? Adjacent. So those are adjacent angles. And 6 and 8 would be congruent angles. That means 6 and 7 would have to be supplementary. 12, excuse me, 12 and 10. I think I'll do one more. You can finish up the rest. I'll give you the answers. 12, trace 10. Now look at that. Again, our pattern doesn't happen, but those are vertical. And I think we're very good about verticals, and we know that vertical angles are congruent. So each one of these last two, you will get those. This one should come out to be, I want you to do those on your own. Pause, and then check. First one is alternate exterior, and they're congruent. And then you got the last one is same side, exterior. You should try this on your own to make sure you understand them. Okay. In this diagram, okay. Again, let's see what we can do here. I need those patterns. The good thing we've got these parallel lines. Okay, so I'm going to look at this angle here and that one, extend, extend, extend. Those are called corresponding. You see that they're the same color in the pattern. So I'm going to select, that means they have to be congruent. The corresponding angles are congruent. Set it equal to each other, and voila, you got y is 40. Pretty straightforward. This one's probably the same game. Let's see. Up, trace, trace. Now those are alternate interior angles. If I establish my pattern, they're not the same color. The 4x is blue and the 120 is green. That means that since they're different, they must be supplementary. That means they have to add up to 180. So that gives me the equation 4x plus 120 equals 180. And you guys can solve that yourself. You're pretty good at that. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm never wrong, x is 15. Turn into the next side. For each angle on the right, find the values. Again, here's where we're going to establish patterns and check things out. I'm going to start with this 100. And right away, I see a vertical of C, so I'm going to call C 100. I don't know what else I got there. Let's trace, get rid of this and go ahead and mark that black and black because that's permanent. All right, then let's trace this 20. 20. There's a parallel line here, so let's trace this parallel line. Extend, extend, extend. So I got my 20. Pattern, 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 pattern. Everything that corresponds to that has to be the same. I don't really need that one. That's 20. I really don't need this one, but I might. And this one is 20. So that's what I got from that one. I might be able to get more right away from this one. I don't know. Let's see. Let's check something out. This one and this one. Well, if that's 20, these guys have to be supplementary, so they're 160. All right, which means this one, that's a combination of two angles. And this one, which is a combination of two angles. So this angle has to be 160. But this part's already 100. So B has to be 60. And you know what? I already think I'm done. I've got A is 20. I've got B is 60. And I have C is 100. Not terrible. Now, I could have used the 60 to confirm that if I needed to. Let's just double check. Let's check to see if B is 60 using something else. See, I could go like this. I could trace that 60. And then here's your one parallel line. Here's your other parallel line. And extend. 60. Oh, look, they're corresponding. So B had to have been 60 anyway. Just double checking. All right, this last one's okay. This set. What we're going to do here is what we're doing is backwards. We're saying, hey, if they're congruent, if this is the correct pattern, then the lines have to be, which lines have to be parallel? You got three choices for answers. PQ are parallel, RS are parallel, or there are no parallel lines. So three choices, 5 and 7. Oops, I'm supposed to trace 5 and 7, sorry. Trace 5, trace 7. Now, I'll be darned. These two P and Q do not look parallel to me, but if 5 and 7 are in the pattern and they're the same color, they should be congruent. They say they are, which means the two lines, you got one transversal, which is R, and you get your two parallel lines, P and Q. That means P and Q, even though they don't look parallel, must be parallel because the colors are the same and they're supposed to be because they said they're congruent. Do the next problem. The next problem is 1 and 15. 1, 15, extend, extend, extend. Now I believe that R and S are the ones I'm checking to see if they're parallel, but it has to meet the pattern. 1, 7, 9, 15. It appears that 1 and 15 should be congruent. They're going to be the same color. C1 and C15, they're both the same color. They are congruent. Therefore, my two lines, not P, P is my transversal, R and S have to be parallel. Now I'm going to trace 8, 9. Hey, it looks like I already have 8, 9 traced out. I have already 8, 9 traced out. Here's 8, 9, so there's the pattern already. If you look carefully, these two 8 and 9 are both different colors, so they should be supplementary. And look, they are. They're supplementary. So again, R has to be parallel to S. Same patterns, same established. Now let's look at the next one. You know eventually they're not going to come out so easy. 1 and 2. Do they establish that pattern? No. There is no two parallel lines cut by a transversal. So this one is no parallel lines needed. Those 1 and 2 are adjacent angles, and they form a linear pair. That's why they're linear. They're 180 degrees. So no parallel lines needed here because they're adjacent and they form a linear pair. Next one is 14 and 4. Again, that one you should be able to get yourself. If you get that correct, that is going to be R and S. So try that one on your own. And then 16 and 10 is going to be the answer, no parallels. So try those last two on your own. And then finally, down here, these are the visual perception ones. So I'm going to try my best to color in for you. You got right. Refer to the diagram to the right. T for true, or F for false, or complete, or for false for each, or complete the statement. In some cases, you'll be completing a statement. Here, you don't have to complete any statements. PQS looks like the top piece, and NP. I'll do that in a different color. Maybe I'll see it better. NP, those look like parallel planes, one on the top, one on the bottom. So I believe that is true based on the picture. RO, and NP. Those guys are not on the same plane. This one, the NP, if I look at NP, it's on the bottom plane or the right, on this triangle here. This one's not even related to it. It's completely separate. They can't be parallel unless they're on the same plane. That's false. Q and N. Line QN is here. And we've got RO is here. Now these two lines look like they're parallel, but they got to be on the same plane. They both lie on this plane here. So they do look parallel and they are on the same plane, so that's true. RO. See, the poor, a lot of times is taking your time to trace. See, that's that left side of the triangle. triangular prism, actually is what it's called. And then QNPS. Now they cannot be parallel. They intersect right there. They intersect at the line QN. Like any two lines, they either parallel planes. Two planes have to be parallel, or they have to intersect at a line. And that's what it does. So this is false. Last one. Now skew is like parallel. They don't intersect, but they can't be on the same plane. See, parallel lines are on the same plane. Skews are not. So let's check this out. QN is here, and then OP is here. They're not even on the same plane. This guy, OP, is in this plane or the bottom plane. It's not going to match up with that. So if you visualize that, they're not in the same plane, but they're not going to meet. So this is definitely true. Okay. Hopefully class time and everything else should be ready for the quiz tomorrow.